thanks so much for joining us here on the Road to Rock. This is a true pleasure to have you, and sir, your legend precedes you. Welcome aboard, Jim. How's everything going, my man?
It's okay. It's going well. It's been a nice day today. A good day.
Well, I'm here in the Midwest. I don't know how often you've been to like the Midwest of the United States, but it's 75 degrees here. It's beautiful, and we couldn't ask for better. This is a rarity for us.
And that's very unusual. That's lovely, isn't it?
It is. It is. And Jim, it's just been a whirlwind and a crazy time for you. And I want to kind of start with your latest book, which is called She Walks in Beauty: My Quest for the Bigger Picture. Talk about this book, kind of why now, why the timing was now. And obviously the book starts with the worst day of your life, Jim, which was losing your wife last summer, June 7th, 2020. Yeah. Just kind of take us through. Was that kind of a catalyst for wanting to write this book, and how did it all come about?
Yeah, well, it all started with that. And I was really prepared to try and find out what had happened to her, because we were very close. And I thought, well, she can't just disappear. And various people, friends of hers, told me that they dreamt about her, and they said, "Oh, she looked very well, and she looked very good in the dream." And then I met somebody else that had actually seen her after she'd passed over, and she saw her with me. And it was a very odd story. She said, I saw you walking, because we used to walk up in this place in the hills quite nearby here. And we used to regularly walk. And we knew a woman that worked in the cafe. There was a cafe there we used to stop off. And Lizzie was very friendly with her. And she said, well, I saw the two of you, and she was very happy, and you were in tears. And when I got back into work, they told me she died. So it's a very odd story. And I thought, oh well, she must be around in some sort of form or other. So I decided to look into near-death experiences and contact various mediums, and I ended up getting in touch with a medium called Suzanne Giesman in the States, who runs courses on mediumship, and she was an officer in the U.S. Navy at one point, and she lost her stepdaughter. She was in Iraq, and she got hit by lightning, and after that she decided to be a medium. And she studied in England, and she ran courses. So we were in a lockdown. So I thought, well, I'll take her course and see how it goes. So she told you various methods and steps to get in touch with our loved ones across the veil. And I actually managed to do it quite well. We managed to communicate quite well. Here and there, and it was a success. And so part of the journey was that I was talking to another medium, and she said, "Oh, well, I've got Lizzie here, and she's suggesting you do a book about all this stuff you've been through, or a blog." She said, first of all, and then I thought, well, a book. So this sounds good. So I contacted Dave Thompson, who wrote the other one with me, the first one. Nobody told me. And I thought, oh, he won't be interested in that. He's too rock and roll for that, because he'd written a lot of rock books. And but he said, oh, I love the idea. I love all that stuff. He said, I'm very keen on that. I'll go with that. And so we went from there.
Excuse me.
You okay?
I just got over a little bit of a cold here, Jim. I thought I was 100%. I guess not. So, well, as I get my voice back, this is not this book is not a typical rock and roll autobiography by any means. Obviously, you've had a fascination with the paranormal since you were young, and it's a love that's kind of grown. When you encountered this medium and have these experiences with your wife, are there things that you learned? Are there things that you believed before that you don't believe, or the other way around that you now very much believe in? I mean, what's this kind of journey been like with you when it comes to your love of and your appreciation for the paranormal?
Well, I think I've always been highly interested, but this time it was really like right in my face, you know. And from what I studied and I gathered was that the consciousness is actually separate from the human body and the brain, and the consciousness goes on. So when we die, you know, we go on as our consciousness in our own, you know, in our own way. So I sort of knew that before, but never really actually believed it, you know, totally. I didn't really think about that too much, you know.
Yeah. Well, I can't recommend the book enough, guys. It's available through Barnes and Noble. It's called She Walks in Beaty: My Quest for the Bigger Picture. And it's a fascinating read and a tremendous cover. There's something very thought-provoking about the cover. I love that. And it's just tremendous work. And, you know, for you, Jim, you have been through so much in the music business. You're the member of the Yardbirds that has stayed the course. You've been there through the whole thing. You have some dates coming up. The Yardbirds do this spring. Have you guys not? How long has it been since you've played a show? And how much forward are you looking to these dates coming up to give the Flower Power Cruise and a couple dates in America scheduled for the spring? How important are these dates for you to be able to get back to the stage?
Oh, very, very much so, because the last date we did was February last year. I think that was in Seattle.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's crazy.
And we came back from Seattle, and that was it. And I started looking after Lizzie, who was at home then. You know, she was quite ill. But definitely, we nearly came last month in October, but that got cancelled as well. Mm. So it's all in March, April now. So it's not that far away. So yeah, it'd be great to get back to everyone and play a few Yardbirds gigs again.
Did you ever envision yourself when this band forges its path as an innovative band that it was, coming from the early 60s, coming from post Beatlemania, did you ever envision that in 2022 you'd be on stage playing as the Yardbirds? Did you ever envision that being possible?
No, never did. I suppose we were always in the moment, you know, always playing. Yeah. Really thought about going on and on. And I think when we started the band, we thought I would probably last about 2 years or so, you know. We'd have packed up about 1965.
Right.
But it's amazing. I mean, amazing, and it's a whole lifetime and more, really. That, you know, being in the band. I mean, it was like a lifetime when we were together originally, just from 1963 to 68. I mean, that's incredible. You know, so many things happened, but you know, going on till now, it's like multiple lifetimes.
Well, you guys toured with the Rolling Stones in the UK in 1966, and maybe we need to relive that tour. You know, the Stones are out there again; they're doing tremendous. That might be a tour we need to relive one of these days. Yeah. Here. That'd be tremendous.
That would be great, wouldn't it? There was us two bands, and there was Ike and Tina Turner as well. I mean, that's a great tour.
What was that like? You're a young man. How old were you at that time? And what was that like for you personally? Was it just a whirlwind? Was it just unbelievable? What was that like for you?
You mean that whole time, or
yeah, just that time period as you guys continued to gain popularity, as you're a young man growing up, as excesses continue to be available to you, as these tours happen, and your life becomes just a circus, doesn't it?
Well, yeah, I mean, it was crazy. I mean, it was like a roller coaster, really,
Yeah.
because it was up and down. I mean, it wasn't just highs. I mean, there were downs that got very, very tired, you know. And in the end, we got so tired we had to give it up, you know. Touring sort of every night for years on end, because that was the only money we really made by playing live. We didn't get, you know, huge record royalties in those days, and so we were constantly pressurized to play and play and play, and in the end it was just too much, and you know, we couldn't do it anymore.
Well, you guys get inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame in 1992, and there's some of that kind of chronicled in the book as well, about kind of your early life growing up, you know, going to a holiday camp in the English West Country, all the way to Cleveland to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Do you ever just kind of reflect back on your own life and your journey from where you started to getting that vindication of the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, where, Jim, not everybody to this day is in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame? You've got so many tremendous bands that aren't in there, and it took Deep Purple so long. It took Iron Maiden, still not in. It took so many bands, and you guys were recognized back in 92 properly. So what's this journey been like kind of for you personally?
Yeah, I mean, it's an amazing journey, isn't it, really, to go, as you say, looking at it like that. And we were in the school band, or maybe the band that played in the holiday camp, and we played songs by Johnny Cash, and Johnny Cash was inducted at the same time as us. You know, that's crazy.
Wow, that's right. That's great. That's talk about life coming full circle. That's amazing.
Yeah. And I was standing right next to him and having the jam, you know. It was like incredible.
Oh, and you guys have just, I mean, everybody, you know, people that are fans of rock music in any form know the influence, know what you guys have done, understand the, you know, that Clapton, Beck, and Jimmy Page, and kind of that lineage of this band. They know the songs that are just, you know, the hits that you still are going to hear on 60s on 6. If you listen to Sirius XM today, the hits are still there. What's it like for you now playing those songs live? Is it just a testament to what you guys did in the 60s, the fact that those songs are still recognized, that you still play them live today?
Yeah, well, they all stand up. They still sound good, and particularly, you know, playing with a modern PA system, it's going to sound a lot better than it would in the 60s. I mean, it's you know, everything's not nicely mic'd and nicely balanced, and everyone can hear everything. And that repertoire just keeps going. I mean, it always sounds great. You know, people love it, and I like it. I mean, it's not like it was in the 60s. It's not every night, you know. It just doing the odd tour. I mean, it's very enjoyable to do it.
Talk about kind of the evolution of the Yardbirds, because you guys were originally a blues-based band noted for your signature rave up instrumental breaks, and you sort of broadened into, you know, kind of a fusion of pop. You pioneered psychedelic rock and influences of hard rock. Obviously, the guitar sound with the guitar players you had, which were prodigious and very important. But were you on board? Was there a noted conscious effort to kind of evolve that sound from that original blues sound, or did it just kind of happen organically?
Well, a touch of both, really. I think it was the advent of Jeff Beck coming into the band, because he was a much more adventurous player, and he liked to play lots of different styles, and he had all the sounds, you know, all the fuzz boxes and the pedals, and he loved weird and wonderful sounds, and we enjoyed that as well, because it made it our own sound, something that was original, and we weren't just sounding like a black blues band. You know what I mean? We weren't just copying a band and playing a cover. We were making it into something else.
Well, can you just kind of talk about, Jeff Beck, Eric Clapton, and Jimmy Page, three of the most influential guitarists of all time, all playing with at different times with the Yardbirds, which is unbelievable. Was their guitar playing that kind of drove the sound? You talked about Jeff Beck really being influential in that way. Was it kind of like when Eric would come in, when Jimmy Page did it kind of the sound evolve with your guitarist, or was that something that you sort of drove as well?
Well, we were always a team,
Yeah.
Even from square one. I mean, Eric was part of the team, and I guess he didn't really want to be in the team in the end, so he left. He wanted to throw the shots himself. So, yeah, I mean, the guitar was always a good. It was always a good platform for lead guitar playing blues, because there was always a lot of space for lead guitar solo, and so it was a good gig for a guitar player. They had a lot of space to play around with, and they could play a lot of solo stuff, and they all enjoyed it. I know that.
Do you think that the Yardbirds, when it comes to the legacy, get the accolades that you guys really deserve? I mean, for songs like For Your Love, Stroll On, Under the Sideways Down, Shapes of Things, there's so many more songs that are in how much you guys influence other bands. But do you think that as other artists kind of spawned off, as the band kind of went its separate ways, do you think that the Yardbirds in and of itself get the proper due? Because sometimes in America, I feel like that it doesn't. And I can't figure out why that is.
Yeah, well, maybe not. Maybe not. I don't really know. But it is something that sort of grows. It's I suppose it's like a sort of a wine or something, a fine wine, which matures. So, and there's more and more people. Deep Purple have just covered Shapes of Things on their new album, and there's more bands playing our songs, more and more, which is great. Great for us. It was very gratifying.
When was the first year? Do you remember when you guys first came to America and what that was like for you?
Yeah, it was. I think it was definitely with Jeff. It was probably late 65.
65.
Yeah, and that was very special, because America was our big dream. In those, we were from little old England, and the fog and the rain and everything, and coming to America was like huge, like this huge place, and somewhere where we'd seen all the westerns and all the TV shows and the blues music, and it was a big dream for us to come over. And I think the first tour we had trouble with our visas, so it was just a short tour. But then we the second tour was okay, and we went on from there, and we did recording over there as well. We recorded in Chess Studios in Chicago. That's where we did Shapes of Things in 1966, and we also went to Sam Phillips' studio down in Memphis, Sun, and we recorded some stuff there, and it was always sounded much better than the English studios. I think the English were really much better, and they knew how to get a real rock sound, and that was very exciting for us.
Oh, that's a very famous studio. I didn't realize you guys had recorded there as well. That's in some very good company. So, I mean, at that time, you didn't have large scale tours the way that we see them today, or the way that it would evolve. This is in the very infant stages of concerts, right? So what would a typical tour look like for you here in America? Would it just be kind of a number of shows here and there, and you would kind of play with whoever they could fit on the bill? This was sort of very infant stages. What was sort of some of those early tours like for you?
It mainly made up of lots of individual dates, and sometimes we'd fly all the time, And then, yeah, we didn't have tour buses. We might have gone on a Greyhound bus or something. Some of them we had a Greyhound bus, but yeah, they were a mixture of clubs where we play on our own, or we play a big show, you know, in a big stadium somewhere with a whole load of other bands. Yeah, it was a mixture, but it was hectic. It was like, you know, 6 weeks of it. It was quite hard.
Yeah, I always enjoy hearing stories about some of those days and the way that, you know, Elvis and Johnny Cash and Jerry Lee Lewis would tour together, and some of those stories. And it's just tremendous. And you guys have been around and done so much. And I just want to congratulate you on what is a tremendous book, and absolutely can't thank you enough for coming on, Jim, to talk about it and staying up late in your area. You know, it's only like 4 o'clock here, but you're up late to do this, and we can't thank you enough. And the book is awesome. And I want to make sure everyone remembers the title. It's She Walks in Beauty, My Quest for the Bigger Picture. And Jim, I certainly hope you found the bigger picture, my friend.
Yeah, I think I'm getting there.
We're all just trying to get there, Jim. And we can't wait to see the Yardbirds out here this spring. And hopefully we get some more dates coming up here in 2022.
Yeah, that would be nice. I'd like that. Yeah.
We're looking forward to it. Jim, thank you so much, my friend. Really appreciate it. The book is great, and we hope we can catch up soon again. Thank you so much.
Okay. Thanks a lot.
You bet. Thank you.
Thanks.